I hope you're having a great day. Today I want to talk about high blood pressure. This is like a silent killer. It is responsible for so much of poor cardiovascular health and even cardiac arrests, strokes, hemorrhages, and so many more things. The point is, we don't have to live with it. We don't have to live with it. There are just too many people we come across on a day-to-day basis who have been on a blood pressure medication for 15 years and 20 years at a time, and they've never really tried to make lifestyle changes to get better. And that's the problem. I don't have a problem with medicine. I have a problem when people are given medicine and told that they need to be on it for a lifetime. There are certain drugs, like in transplant patients, they may need to be on immunosuppressants for the rest of their life, but that's hardly anything compared to the lifestyle conditions we're talking about. For the longest time, people have been told they need to be on thyroid medication for a lifetime, but as we speak, thousands of people across the world are no longer on their thyroid medication because guess what? They made lifestyle changes. Their thyroid got better and the doctors got them off the meds. It's the same thing with type 2 diabetes, it's the same thing with statins, and it's the same thing with high blood pressure medication. We need to understand this. Sometimes there are very, very genetic cases and your doctor will keep you on it for the safety of your heart. Besides that, what we want to do is, the idea of today's video is not for you to jump off your high blood pressure medication. It is to evaluate what is the possible cause, number one. Number two, have I made lifestyle changes? And what are these lifestyle changes that I can make? And as my systolic and diastolic starts to fall, my doctor will be happy to reduce my medication. You reduce it and you reduce it to the lowest possible. And then after a while, you don't even need that. We've had patients who had 200 by 100, 250 by 110, 180 by 90. And over time with lifestyle changes, they come down to 160, they come down to 150, and the doctor is revising the medication. Then they come down to 115 by 90 or 120 by 19. And that's when your doctor will stop your medication for you. We need to understand while medication can save lives, constant medication is also going through our liver, our kidney, and every medicine has a side effect. That's something that you need to know right now. But we don't have to be scared of it. Even if you are that person who needs to be on a high blood pressure medication, there are ways to balance the side effects of it. Number one, why do we get high blood pressure? There are many reasons. One of them could be genetics. But like I always say, don't blame your genes, because sometimes you inherit the genes and you also inherit the poor lifestyle and the habits. And it's up to you to change those habits and lifestyles, which could be continuing. So let's say you grew up in a family where you see your parents all the time stressed. Reaction, stress, anger. They have high blood pressure because of stress. We know that's one of the biggest causes. Now you adopt those behaviors, and through your teenage life and your adult life, you are the same in terms of behavior. You are going to get high blood pressure, not because of the gene, but because of your behavior. So we need to understand we cannot always blame it on genes, but genes plays a role on it. Age can make a big difference. How you're aging. Most people are aging way before their time. They're supposed to be 30, but they're actually 40 or 45, your biological age. The point is, as we age and we do not age gracefully, our chances of high blood pressure is worse. So you see, if I'm aging and my bad habits like smoking and drinking, not working out, sleeping late at night, not being able to manage my stresses more and more, I bring on this age-related condition of high blood pressure as well. Then we, of course, have poor diet. Extremely poor diet where your body's not getting the nutrients it needs. High carb diets, processed food, refined, ultra processed, high blood pressure. A lack of exercise can also, a sedentary lifestyle, high blood pressure again. And then we have high alcohol and poor lifestyle like smoking, vaping, and all of that stuff. Obesity also puts a strain on the heart. We need to understand that. You are born and you are at a particular height and a weight. Your body works with that height and weight for so many things. The process of angiogenesis, blood vessels that supply oxygen and nutrients to every one of the cells in your body. When you are obese, your body has to work twice harder than normal. Your heart has to. There's a strain on your liver. There's a strain on your kidney, your pancreas, which is why with obesity comes metabolic syndrome. You know, a waistline, diabetes, high blood pressure, and then worse, you have the combination of high blood pressure and diabetes, and it's going to be chronic kidney failure. Chronic kidney issues can also lead to high blood pressure, and that's why we always look at the body as a whole. We don't just say, oh, I have high blood pressure, here's a medicine. I have cholesterol, here's a statin. Everything in the human body is interconnected with each other. One of the biggest causes of high blood pressure is stress, chronic stress. It's common sense. You don't need science or research to tell you this. When we're stressed out, we raise cortisol, adrenaline. It's okay for a short period of time. When it's continuous, you're in the sympathetic nervous system. In the sympathetic nervous system, your pressure is high naturally. It has to come down at some point. And while you have high blood pressure, your arteries are hardening. They're constricting. They're becoming smaller and smaller, which is a double-edged sword, because guess what? Now you have a back pressure building up and your pressure increases more and more. So it is so important for us to understand the health of the entire body, from your blood vessels to the way you sleep, the way you think, the way you eat, the way you move. All of that is your prescription to reversing high blood pressure. I'm not here to tell you jump off your meds. I'm here to say plant a seed that, hey, I don't need these meds. I'm going to speak to my doctor, make these lifestyle changes, track my blood pressure, and work with my doctor and my lifestyle changes to eventually get off that medication. So let's get straight into the role of nutrition. There are no magic foods. There are foods that have signs. They're called vasodilators. Any foods that have vasodilators or nitrates, they relax the blood vessels. They cause elasticity. They allow the blood vessels to expand so that your blood can flow freely. When your blood can flow freely, you drop your pressure. That's why when you have a blockage in your heart, your pressure tends to go up. Or usually a high blood pressure patient can have a blockage in their heart, and that's why your doctors want you to do your scans. So there are many foods that contain that. Number one is garlic, because it contains that magic called allicin, which is known how to relax your blood vessels. Any foods or smart supplements that contain magnesium, very, very powerful. Most people are dehydrated today. Most people are dehydrated today. And that's a big problem. That's a big problem for every blood vessel in the body and every organ in the body. Or we're eating too much of processed food, and that's where we're having the overconsumption of terribly refined salt. Salt has never been the problem. That's a huge, huge myth. Salt is not the problem. Salt becomes a problem when you have a kidney problem with high blood pressure. But other than that, your body needs salt. Your kidneys need salt. Your heart needs salt. Your heart needs potassium. It needs magnesium. It needs all of these things that again can come to you in a balanced diet. Then we need fatty acids. So your omega-3s that comes from your fatty fish, or it comes from your algal oil if you're vegetarian. It comes from your walnuts and flax seeds. But it's not going to be the right quantity if you already have a problem. So you're going to have to, under professional advice, make sure you're taking the right amount of omega-3 if you're trying to reverse your high blood pressure. Then we have beetroots. This is my favorite food. Okay? Now, a lot of people who shallowly look at just health as weight loss will say, oh, but beets have sugar. And they don't talk about the samosas that they eat and the hidden snacks that they eat. Well, beets contain nitrates. Your body converts nitrates into nitric oxide, which is a natural vasodilator. In fact, most of our clients who are no longer on blood pressure medication today have used foods high in nitrates, along with lifestyle changes like beetroot, leafy greens, your spinach in a cooked form. I am not a fan of kale and spinach in a raw form, and I am not a fan of overdoing these foods which are high in oxalates. You don't need to overdo them. You need them in small quantities. So your green leafies, that's also a fantastic source of nitrates for you. And then when it comes to fruits, as long as, of course, we're looking for chemical-free and organic as far as possible, otherwise sometimes the pesticides kind of override the health benefit. We're looking at all the berries in the berry family. Doesn't matter where you live in the world. Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, wherever you have berries growing. In India, we would have strawberries. These are great, great, great fruits to support your vascular health. Because a lot of these foods also support angiogenesis, which is the health of your blood vessels, how your blood vessels grow. Then you have your green tea, you have your black tea, and you want to make sure that you brew these teas fresh as possible because of the microplastics in tea bags. I know, I wish we were living in an honest world where our food chain was so easy, but we got to be careful of all of these things, or at least look at the quality of the tea bag. We're looking at raw cacao, pure chocolate, not your fake chocolate, not your chocolate where you turn over the bar and the first ingredient is not chocolate. It's sugar and it's everything else, and you have very little chocolate. So the darker the chocolate, the better it is. Raw cacao nibs, raw cacao. Make a nice cup of hot chocolate using raw cacao. Good quality, organic, chemical-free chocolate is great for your health. It is great for your heart. We spoke about a magnesium supplement. I would use the magnesium glycinate. That'll also help me sleep better, because that brings me to my next point. Sleep is absolutely necessary if you're looking at reducing your blood pressure or reversing it. Without good quality sleep, you cannot do it. In fact, a lot of people have high blood pressure because they're sleep deprived. Sleep deprivation can also lead to high blood pressure indirectly and directly. So that's the part of our lifestyle where we want to improve for every possible disease, prevention or recovery. Sleep, quality of sleep. It's not the quantity, it's the quality. Then exercise. You want a holistic workout program. You want to be training muscle, you want cardiovascular, you want mobility, you want flexibility, you want stamina and endurance. Start small. You don't have to go to a gym. You can walk, you can do yoga, you can challenge muscle through calisthenics, through resistance bands and all of that stuff. Figure out what works for you, but the magic word is consistency. You got to lose weight if you have fat, body fat. There's a lot of science coming up about the combination of using a smart low-carb diet and high blood pressure. And I've seen that work because usually with high blood pressure, a patient also has high triglycerides and low HDL, which makes it metabolic syndrome. And going on a smart low-carb. I'm not a fan of low-carb because that puts you in a box that a lot of influencers are talking about. I'm a fan of smart low-carb. How can I be so smart with my carbohydrates, the quality and the quantity, so I don't create a hormonal imbalance in my body, so I don't create a thyroid problem in my body? It's not always about calorie deficient. It's never about high protein or low protein, high fat, low carb, high carb. It's about smart protein, smart fat, and smart low carb. That's what we need to be, smart. We got to be smart. We don't have to be puppets. We don't need to be puppets put in buckets on Instagram because someone puts up a fit body and they say, I did low carb, and now you think you can have a fit body with low carb. Well, guess what? If it worked, everyone would be there. But we need to be smart carb. There are days for different people. Some bodies are carb efficient, some are not. Some are metabolically unfit. That is where smart low carb will come in. Just remember bio-individuality. We are all different, every one of us. The moment you put yourself into a box, and you're trying to put yourself into a box like society does, you're never going to get your results. Learn from everyone, but use your common sense and expert advice to make the right decision. And that's it with high blood pressure. The last point that I leave you with is the power of your breath. It can challenge you. If your pressure is high right now, take your pressure, systolic and diastolic, sit down, calm yourself down, start to slowly breathe. Inhales and slow exhales through your nostril. If your inhale is 4 seconds, your exhale becomes 8 seconds. Try it. If it's 3, it becomes 6. 1:2. Do it for 7 to 8 to 9 minutes and check your systolic and diastolic. I will guarantee you it will go down a couple of points, showing you the impact of moving from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic nervous system. You cannot have great systolic and diastolic in the parasympathetic nervous system, which is where we want to spend most of our time. So if I'm chronically stressed, constantly stressed, sometimes there's no stress in life, but your mind is making stress, your heart is making stress, then you need to change the program running in your subconscious mind. Because a lot of people think, but Luke, I'm relaxed, I'm watching TV at home, but you're stressed out because your mind's making problems. High blood pressure. It is very important to use the power of yoga, pranayama, your own breath to help you along with food, nutrition, and like I said, make an informed decision with medication. This is not a war between being on medicine and being off medicine. It's about you doing it the right way. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, breathe deep, and remember, you care is all about you.